I never thought my decision to become a teacher would tear my family apart, but now, when I look back, I realize that teaching didn't cause the problems, it just brought out the truth that had been hiding for a long time. Teaching wasn't just a job for me, it was something I truly loved. After graduating top of my class from Stanford, everyone expected me to take a big job in tech, make tons of money, and live in Silicon Valley like most of my classmates. But I surprised everyone when I said no to those offers and took a job teaching science at Lincoln Public High School instead. The school didn't have much money, many of the students came from struggling families, but that made me want to be there even more. At first, my brother James supported my decision. He said he was proud of me, but everything changed after he got married 3 years ago. His wife, Victoria, came from a very wealthy family and worked as a marketing executive at a top tech company called Reynolds Technologies. Victoria didn't understand why someone like me, with a Stanford degree, would choose to teach. From the beginning, she made it clear that she didn't respect my choice. "Stanford degree and you're just teaching?" she would say with a fake smile and a wrinkled nose. "Such a waste, Sarah, you could be making 6 figures by now." I usually ignored her. My students needed me. Last year, 98% of my AP Physics class passed their exam. That meant more to me than a fancy paycheck or expensive clothes. But everything changed the night of the dinner party. James and Victoria were hosting a big event at their beautiful new mansion in Pacific Heights. The guests were mostly people from Victoria's company. I didn't want to go. I knew I wouldn't fit in, but James begged me. "Please, Sarah, Victoria's boss will be there. It's important to her." So, I went. From the moment I walked in, I knew it was a mistake. Victoria had seated me far from the main guests. At the end of a long table, I recognized a few people, powerful tech executives from the news, talking about stocks and luxury vacations. Then Victoria called out in her sweet, fake voice, "Sarah, darling, do tell everyone what you do. I'm sure they'll find it interesting." I sat up straight and said, "I teach AP Physics at Lincoln High School." The room went silent. Then Victoria laughed, a sharp, loud laugh that echoed across the table. "Can you believe it?" she said. "Stanford graduate, could have done anything, and she chose to babysit kids in the worst school district in the city." Some of the guests laughed nervously. James just stared at his plate and said nothing. "Teachers are just failed professionals," Victoria added. "No offense, Sarah, but those who can, do. Those who can't, well, you know how the saying goes." My hands shook under the table, but I spoke calmly. "My students." "Oh, your precious students," she interrupted. "Come on, Sarah, be honest. Most of them will drop out anyway. When was the last time you actually made a difference?" And that's when it happened. A deep voice spoke from the doorway. "Miss Anderson." Everyone turned to look. A tall man in a sharp suit stood there, his presence impossible to ignore. I recognized him right away, Michael Reynolds, the CEO of Victoria's company, her boss. "Mr. Reynolds," Victoria jumped up quickly, smiling. "We weren't expecting you so early." But he wasn't looking at her, he was looking at me. His eyes were filled with tears. "Miss Anderson," he said again, his voice full of emotion, "you probably don't remember me, but my son Alex was in your class last year." Everything went quiet. Victoria's face turned pale. "Alex Reynolds," I said softly, remembering the quiet boy who always sat in the back. He had struggled a lot. He was failing every class. "Mr. Reynolds," continued, walking closer to me. "His mom and I had just gotten divorced. He was falling apart. Other teachers had given up on him, but you didn't. You stayed after school with him every day. You believed in him when no one else did." Tears came to my eyes. Alex was smart. He just needed someone to believe in him. "He's at MIT now," Mr. Reynolds said proudly. "Full scholarship. He calls it the Miss Anderson Scholarship, because he says he never would have made it without you." The whole room was silent. "When he told me your name," he added, "I was shocked. I've been trying to find you to say thank you. I never expected to find you here." Then he turned to the table. "This woman isn't just a teacher, she's a miracle worker. She gave my son hope. She could have taken the easy route, made more money, but she chose to help kids who needed her. That takes real courage." Victoria looked like she was about to faint. James stared at me with a strange mix of pride and guilt. "Miss Anderson," Mr. Reynolds said seriously, "I have an offer for you, but maybe we can discuss it in a better place." I stood up. My legs felt steady. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. I think that's a great idea, I said. As we walked out, I heard Victoria whisper to James, "Did you know? Why didn't you tell me?" But I didn't stop walking. Something told me this was only the beginning. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls, messages, all from James and Victoria. I ignored them. I was too focused on something more important, the business card Mr. Reynolds had given me. It read, 9 a.m., Reynolds Technologies headquarters. I put on my best blazer, probably cheaper than Victoria's lipstick, and headed to the building. After the dinner party, Mr. Reynolds had taken me to a small cafe to talk. "What you did for Alex," he told me, "that kind of heart and dedication is rare. We need more of it in education." Now, as I stepped into the conference room, I saw not just Mr. Reynolds but a full board of directors. "Sarah," he said warmly, "thank you for coming. We have something very important to discuss." But before he could say more, the door burst open. Victoria walked in, dressed perfectly as always but clearly rattled. "Michael, I can explain everything about last night." Then she saw me. "What is she doing here?" Mr. Reynolds's friendly expression turned cold. "Mrs. Thompson, this is a private meeting," he said, "and you're interrupting a discussion about our new $50 million education initiative." Victoria's eyebrows shot up. "Education initiative?" "Yes," he continued, "we're creating a new foundation to support public schools across the city, and we want Sarah to lead it." I just sat there, stunned. He explained the plan. Reynolds Technologies would fund the foundation. It would provide schools with technology, resources, and training for teachers, and they wanted me to be the executive director. "The salary is $250,000, he added casually, "plus benefits, and a full budget to build your team." Victoria looked like she couldn't breathe. I'm just a teacher," I whispered. "No, Mr. Reynolds said, "you're an educator. You've made a real difference. That's exactly who we need." Victoria's face turned red. "But she's not even qualified. I've worked here for 5 years. I should lead it." Just as Mr. Reynolds was about to continue our conversation about the job offer, he suddenly opened a folder sitting in front of him. "Speaking of your work here," he said, looking straight at Victoria, "we need to talk about some strange details in your department's expense reports." Victoria froze. Her face lost all color. "It seems," he continued calmly, "you've been charging personal expenses to the company, expensive ones." "I can explain," she said quickly, her voice shaky. "I'm sure you can," Mr. Reynolds replied coldly. Then he turned to a woman sitting nearby. "Please ask the audit team to help Mrs. Thompson clear out her desk by the end of the day." Victoria's perfect mask cracked. She spun around to face me, eyes blazing. "You planned this," she shouted. "You're trying to ruin me." "Mrs. Thompson," Mr. Reynolds said, his voice now as cold as steel, "security will escort you out." As she was led out, still throwing angry words over her shoulder, Mr. Reynolds turned to me again. "I'm sorry about that interruption," he said gently. "Now, where were we?" "About the position." I raised my hand. "Before I accept anything," I said, "I need to know, did you fire her because of me?" He shook his head. "No, Sarah, we've been watching her for a long time. She's been embezzling company money for years. Fancy dinners, expensive designer clothes, last night's party, it was all paid for with company funds." I sat there in silence, remembering all the times Victoria mocked my plain clothes and teacher's salary. All that time, she was stealing to maintain her image. "There's more," Mr. Reynolds added. "Your brother needs to know, Victoria's been using a secret apartment funded by the company to meet her personal trainer." I felt like someone had kicked me in the stomach. Embezzlement, now infidelity. My phone buzzed again. A text from James. "Sarah, please, Victoria says you got her fired. What's going on?" I looked up at Mr. Reynolds. "I need time to think about your offer, and I need to talk to my brother." He nodded kindly. "Of course, but whatever you decide, know this, Victoria's actions have nothing to do with you. She made her choices." I left the building and walked outside, and that's when I saw Victoria again. She was being escorted out, clutching a box of her things. Her eyes met mine for a moment. The anger in them burned like fire. My phone buzzed once more. Another message. This time, it was from Victoria. "You've ruined everything. I'll make you pay for this." I stood outside for a long time, then finally called James. It was time for the truth, but something deep down told me this wasn't over yet. Victoria wasn't someone who gave up easily. That evening, just before sunset, I returned home, and there she was. Victoria. Standing by my door, mascara smeared, hair a mess, her once flawless designer outfit wrinkled and stained. She didn't look like the confident, elegant woman who mocked me at dinner parties. "You must be so happy," she hissed, her voice bitter. "You've destroyed everything I built." "You destroyed it yourself," I said, trying to stay calm even though my heart was pounding. "The embezzlement, the affair, James knows." She let out a strange, bitter laugh. "Oh, your precious brother knows now, but you still don't know everything, do you?" I narrowed my eyes. "What are you talking about?" She took a step closer, her voice cold and mocking. "Why do you think James never defended you whenever I insulted you or mocked your noble little teaching job? It's because he agreed with me." "You're lying," I said, but my voice wavered. She pulled out her phone. "Let me play you something." She pressed a button, and a recording began to play. It was James's voice. "Of course I love Sarah, but Victoria's right. She's wasting her potential. It's honestly embarrassing to tell people my sister with a Stanford degree teaches poor kids. Sometimes I wish she'd just." I snatched the phone. "Turn it off." Victoria smiled, cold and satisfied. "He's been laughing behind your back for years, so have I. I was just more honest about it." I unlocked my door with trembling fingers. "Leave, Victoria." "Oh, I'm leaving," she said, standing. "But before I go, there's one last thing you should know." I didn't say anything. "James didn't just know about the embezzlement," she said. "He helped me do it." I blinked. "What?" "Half the stolen funds went to a trading account James opened," she added, smirking. "He's just as guilty as I am, and thanks to you, it's all coming out." My stomach dropped. My mind reeled. "I already sent all the documents proving his involvement to Reynolds Technologies' legal team," she continued. "Law enforcement should be in touch soon." She turned to walk away. "Oh, and good luck explaining to your students why their favorite teacher's brother is going to prison." Then she was gone. I sat in my apartment, frozen. My mind was spinning. Her words echoed in my ears. My phone lit up with another call, from James. I let it go to voicemail. Then another call came through. "Sarah," said Mr. Reynolds, his voice low, "we've just received documents proving James's involvement in Victoria's scheme. I wanted you to hear it from me first." I closed my eyes. "Is it true?" "The evidence is strong," he replied. "I'm sorry, we have to take legal action against both of them." I thought about Alex Reynolds, about my students, about the trust one had built. "Mr. Reynolds," I said quietly, "about your offer." "Yes?" he asked. "I want to accept, but I have to know, will what my brother did hurt the foundation?" There was a pause. "Sarah," he said gently, "your brother made his own choices, just like Victoria did. What matters now is what you choose to do." I looked at the old photo on my shelf, James and me as kids, smiling in the sunshine. Slowly, I took it down. "When do I start?" The weeks that followed moved fast. Both James and Victoria were arrested. The news made the front page. Tech executive and husband charged in multi-million-dollar embezzlement scheme. Meanwhile, I threw myself into the work. The Education Foundation came to life. We brought books, computers, and better training to public schools that had been ignored for years. Each time a student smiled with pride, each time a teacher finally got what they needed, I knew I had made the right decision. 6 months later, I sat in court for James's sentencing. He turned to me, his face thin and tired. "Sarah," he whispered, "I'm so." "Save it," I said. "You had years to be honest. Be honest with yourself now." Outside the courthouse, my phone buzzed. A message from one of my students. "Miss Anderson, I got into Stanford, just like you." Tears filled my eyes. Victoria had been wrong. Success isn't about money or status, it's about helping people, about telling the truth, even when it's hard. Today, the foundation supports 50 schools, and we're still growing. Sometimes I drive past James and Victoria's old mansion. It was sold to pay for legal costs, I don't feel revenge or pride, just peace, because I know the truth always finds its way. Last week, I ran into Victoria's mother at a cafe. She looked like she wanted to avoid me, but I called out kindly. "Mrs. Carter, I'm sorry things turned out the way they did." She hesitated, then said quietly, "Victoria called from prison. She said, you were right, about everything." I just nodded. Not every victory needs to be loud. Some are quiet, some are enough just to be known. As for me, I still teach one AP physics class. It reminds me why I started all this in the first place. On my desk are 2 nameplates, Miss Anderson, physics teacher, and just below it, Sarah Anderson, executive director, Reynolds Education Foundation. I don't believe you have to choose between doing good and doing well. Sometimes, if you stay true to yourself, you get to do both. And on my neck, I wear the key-shaped necklace Mr. Reynolds gave me when the foundation launched. It catches the light sometimes, its message engraved clearly. Education changes everything. And it does. Victoria and James built their lives on lies. I built mine on truth, on hard work, on something real. And that's what made all the difference.